If you enjoy True Crime Buzz, but need some more true crime in your life, then check out this other awesome podcast that we highly recommend.
What's up, everyone? I'm John.
And I'm Joe.
And we are the hosts of Spread the Dread Podcast, your weekly source for serial killer stories,
true crime tales,
and horror movie hobnobbing.
If you like the dark side of life with a lot of swearing
and humor guaranteed to get you banned from social media and family gatherings,
visit spreadthedreadpodcast.com and come vibe with your tribe.
We release brand new episodes every Wednesday.
And you can find them on all major podcast platforms as well as YouTube and BitChute.
But be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram too.
Wow, John, you just went like 45 seconds without swearing.
Ah, motherfucker!
Hi everyone, welcome back to True Crime Buzz. I'm your host Brittany, and Amber is off this week on vacation. So with me tonight I have my husband Matt.
Hello.
So Matt, what are you drinking this evening?
I'm drinking a whiskey and Coke.
Yeah, that looks gross, and it smells kind of gross too.
Well, I poured some in yours, so.
You better not have.
It's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have any personal true crime stories of the week? If you need a second to think, since you're not used to it, I can do one.
You can go ahead.
Let's see. My personal true crime story of the week is when I asked my kids to put away groceries tonight, they just threw them in the pantry. The door wouldn't even shut. So before we came back to record this, I had to have them clean up the pantry. It was pretty gross. Did you think of one? You don't have one? It's okay. You can just say I don't have one. Amber sometimes doesn't have one. Well, today I am covering a very wild and tragic story. It's very graphic, so let me add a disclaimer. If graphic details bother you, this may not be the episode for you. The story is about a beautiful and bright young indigenous woman who had her whole life ahead of her. She was expecting her first baby when her life was taken in a very disturbing manner, unfortunately making her one of the tons of indigenous girls and women that go missing or are murdered without answers. But we eventually got answers in this case. Today I'm covering the story of Savanna Greywind. Savanna Marie LaFontaine Greywind was born on August 9, 1995 in Bellecourt, North Dakota, to Norbetta and Joe Greywind. Norbetta was a member of the Turtle Lake tribe, and Joe was a member of the Spirit Lake Sioux tribe. Savanna and her younger brother and her sister were raised as members of the Spirit Lake tribe. The family moved to Fargo, North Dakota when Savanna was young, but returned to Spirit Lake when Savanna was 9. She then attended and graduated Warwick Public School, which is on the reservation, and after high school she went to Lake Region State College and got her CNA certificate. Through all of this, Savanna was dating a guy that she had known since middle school and had been dating for 7 years. His name is Ashton Matheny. Ashton was also a member of the Spirit Lake tribe, and by all accounts they had a very loving and supportive and healthy relationship. Savanna and Ashton were very happy together. In 2016, Savanna moved back to Fargo and was working as a CNA at Eventide Senior Living. Also in 2016, Savanna and Ashton got some very exciting news. They were expecting their first child together and were due in September 2017. Savanna at this time was living with her family, who she was very close with, and had just enrolled in North Dakota State University to study nursing. Savanna's mom, Norbetta, described Savanna as a very social person who had a passion for nursing and horses. Honestly, Savanna just seems amazing and like a person that I would love to have as a friend, doesn't she?
Yeah, horses.
Yeah,
that's it.
It is.
I bet you drank Diet Coke.
Maybe.
Sam's Cola.
Sam's Cola, that's right. Diet Sam's Cola. In August 2017, Savanna and Ashton signed a lease for their own apartment. that was not far from her parents. She and Ashton were supposed to move in September 1st, 2017, just in time to get everything set up before their baby was due. So, she's 8 months pregnant at this time, and on August 19th, 2017, at about 1:30 p.m., Savanna texted her mom and said that she was going to go upstairs to one of the neighbors' apartments to help her with a dress. She just wanted her to try on the dress so she could hem it while it was on her for somebody that was, about the same size. The neighbor, Brooke Cruz, had told Savanna that she would pay her $20 to come wear a dress while she hemmed it. Now, Brooke Cruz lived in the 3rd floor of the apartment complex. Savanna's family, they lived towards the basement. And Brooke shared this apartment with her boyfriend, William Hohen. Brooke and William were notorious in the complex for arguing, and Brooke and Savanna didn't know each other well. But when you're about to have a baby, money is money, and is necessary to prepare.
Yep.
You know all about that, don't you, Boo? With our 3 wild kids. So Savanna goes up to Brooke's to help with this dress. Brooke leads Savanna to her bathroom and immediately shoves Savanna headfirst into the sink.
What the fuck?
Yeah, just knocks her come on in here to the bathroom. Knocked her down headfirst into the sink, which that knocked Savanna out. And while Savanna was coming to and struggling to get her bearings, Brooke grabbed a carpenter's knife and slashed Savanna's belly open and pulled the baby out. I told you it was graphic.
The hell?
Yeah, it's pretty rough. At this point, William, Brooke's boyfriend, came in the bathroom to see what all the commotion was about. If you walked in and saw that somebody had done that, what would you do?
I don't know what I'd do.
Well,
obviously you'd freak out, but
Well, you would call 911 or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's the right answer.
But, you'd also freak the fuck out for sure.
Oh, for sure. But that's not what William did. Instead of calling EMS and stopping all this horrific madness, William instead got a rope and strangled Savanna to death.
Well,
he finished her off.
That's another option, apparently.
Evidently. The worst option. Fucking dickhead. Now, while all this was happening, Savanna's family, they were starting to get concerned. It was 2:30 and Savanna hadn't returned. And Savanna's younger brother was waiting on a ride from Savanna so that he could go to work. So North Greywind sent her son up to Brooke's apartment to check on Savanna. The brother knocked and knocked and knocked on Brooke's door, but no one answered. He did tell his mom that he thought he heard a sewing machine, which, that's entirely possible. She might have put it on, to muffle the sound or something, is what I was thinking.
Or had a tool that sounded like a sewing machine.
I don't know. Crazy bitch. Since no one answered, her parents started getting confused and more concerned. So then Savanna's dad, Joe, goes up to Brooke's apartment and knocks. This time, Brooke answered the door and told Joe, quote, "She's going to be a little bit longer," end quote. So then her parents thought maybe it was just taking longer than anticipated. So Norbetta went ahead and took Savanna's brother to work. But around 4:30 p.m., which is 3 hours after Savanna originally went to Brooke's, Norbetta decided to go to Brooke's herself. This time, somebody answered the door and said Savanna had already left, which her mom found totally strange because Savanna had ordered a pizza before she went to try the dress on, and Savanna hadn't eaten a bite of it. It was sitting untouched in their kitchen. Plus, Savanna's car was still in the parking lot.
Sketch.
Totally sketch. Ashton, Savanna's boyfriend, had also told Norbetta that Savanna had been texting him and then just all of a sudden stopped out of nowhere, and that he hadn't heard from her since. Also, being in the last month of pregnancy, her feet were swollen, so she wouldn't have just walked some long distance.
Nope.
No, that wasn't happening. And her mom said that Savanna was a very cautious person who wouldn't have just went off alone without telling somebody. Savannah also had no history of mental illness either, and her social media was silent, and she was pretty active, like most people on social media. So Norbetta's motherly instincts told her something is up, something is not right. So she called the police. The police arrived and immediately started looking for Savanna. They surrounded and roped off the entire apartment complex, and they went immediately up to Brooke's apartment. And when the police knocked, Brooke and William answered the door and allowed the police to come in and look around, but they found nothing. The cops searched Brooke's apartment 2 more times that weekend and still found nothing. So, like, the cops went in there 3 times, and there was no sign of Savanna, no sign of her baby, no signs of a crime scene. These people were skeezy.
For sure.
In the meantime, Savanna's family hung up posters with Savanna on them, asking for information, and tried to really get her information out on social media as well. The police talked to Savanna's boss, her co-workers, family, and friends. Nothing was coming up. Wednesday, August 23rd rolls around. No one has heard or seen Savanna still. So her family held a prayer event at the Sanford Medical Center in Fargo to raise awareness on Savanna's disappearance and plead with Fargo Police Department to ask the FBI to come and help because, the police weren't turning anything up. So they thought, the FBI could help. And to announce that there was a $7,000 reward being offered for information leading to the discovery of Savanna or her whereabouts. Then at 10:05 a.m. on August 24th, the police decided to do one last search on Brooke's apartment. And this time, an officer noticed movement out of the corner of his eye near the closet and realized that it was a newborn baby. Obviously, it was pretty clear that this baby was Savanna's baby. I wish people could see your face. He looks bewildered.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. And this baby was a baby girl. Luckily, she was not harmed. Police immediately had her taken to the hospital to get checked out, and police detained and questioned Brooke and William and later arrested them on charges of conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Savanna's baby girl was fine, luckily, and returned to Ashton later on down the road. They had to do DNA testing and stuff, I guess, to prove that it was Savanna's baby and not just some random baby. But they returned the baby to Ashton and Savanna's family, and her name is Hazley Jo, and she only weighed 4 pounds, 13 ounces.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because she was early.
She was cut out of a stomach.
Yeah, not by a professional.
Fucking insane.
It is. The apartment building was evacuated and closed off so police could look for evidence. So before we continue with evidence and such, let's talk a little bit about these crazy assholes, Brooke Cruz and William Hohen. Brooke was 38 and William was 32. It turns out that prior to Brooke being with William, she had a daughter and 3 other kids that she's never had anything to do with and didn't pay child support for them. William also had a shady past, real shady past. He also had 2 kids before Brooke, and in 2011, one of his kids was brought to the ER with a skull fracture above his ear. And, you can't just, fall and break that part of your skull. It was pretty clear that it was on purpose that he had this fracture. And so William was charged with child abuse and pled guilty to that in 2012. So what either one of these fools wants with someone else's baby is a fucking mystery to me. Can you understand it?
Nope.
No sense.
But let a motherfucker try.
I know, right? I mean, if you're not even going to take care of your own kids, why do you want somebody else's?
Well, and now, obviously, he noticed movement on the floor out of the corner of his... That means they just had the fucking kid in the floor at...
Well, they didn't say...
A premature baby. Well, that's what I'm imagining. They, had her probably hid in the corner or something.
It was near the closet.
What in the actual fuck is your problem?
I don't know. You're not even prepared. Obviously, this was not a well-thought-out plan. Which never is it in these stories.
I got a car that we can hit them with.
Okay, sounds good to me.
I'm sure, hopefully they're in jail.
Well, we'll get there.
Cock washers.
We'll get there.
Cock wallers.
Today's episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. Do you feel like you're stuck in a dinner rut? With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients with mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip all those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. You can now enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. With over 25 recipes to choose from each week, there is something for everyone to enjoy. All recipes are designed and tested by professional chefs and nutritional experts to ensure deliciousness and simplicity. I have not tried HelloFresh myself, but just looking on their website, the creamy lemon butter chicken looks amazing. Just click the link in our show notes and enter code HFAFF80, that's HFAFF80, to get $80 off, including free shipping. Go to the link in our show notes to get $80 off, including free shipping on HelloFresh, the #1 meal kit.
Some background on Brooke is that she was in foster care as a kid and she was shuffled around from one home to another constantly. And of course, this caused abandonment issues. And she also was known to have a really bad temper, but she didn't have a good childhood at all. Not that that gives you right to go and, cut people open and steal their babies. And William and Brooke's relationship was pretty much a shit show off gate.
Oh, without a doubt, you can tell it's full of abuse and all kinds of calls to the cops and crack.
Meth.
Got to be some crack
I don't
and
know.
some meth.
There's something going on there because these people are not right.
One of them's probably from Florida.
You about made me spit out my Sam's Cola.
Oh, don't want to do that.
So, some examples of their fight include Brooke trying to bash William over the head with a hammer over bills. Because that's normal. Another time, William threw Brooke in the bathtub, and in 2016, he pled guilty to simple assault for that and received a no-contact order for a year with Brooke, which obviously he broke.
I just hope, before she hit him, she was like, Bill, these bills. Just whacked him.
Oh, the dad jokes with you. Which about 6 months later, police were dispatched to Brooke's apartment because a neighbor called and reported a domestic fight. And of course, they found Brooke and William together. And William admitted to it like he had some other option.
No, it's not me.
It wasn't me, man. It's my twin brother. But he admitted. He pled guilty to breaking the no-contact order. So it's safe to say these two had a super toxic relationship and were both very violent and just bad at their cores, to the soul. So back to Savanna. Where was she? What happened to her? At this point, no one knew. But at 5:45 p.m. on Sunday, August 27th, two kayakers discovered a body in the Red River. The body was wrapped in plastic and taped to a log, so they called authorities. The body was pulled out of the river at 8:20 and was identified as Savanna Greywind. Authorities believed that Savanna's body had been hidden in a hollowed-out dresser and then dumped. So when I read that, I thought, she's been in their apartment in a dresser all this time.
Yep.
Obviously, where else? You
Gross.
just go to grandma's house and hide her in the dresser? That's what they did.
That's so sketchy.
Oh, it's the worst because that means the cops were in there
that's
looking.
It's common. Let's fucking put them in the walls.
Yeah,
that's a very common thing. Just so you go right past it.
I know, but how bad do people have to feel that went in there
Three
and looked?
times.
Yeah,
four
times. It's awful. Savannah's poor family was completely and understandably devastated.
Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. When the cops questioned Brooke after this, she denied killing Savanna. Instead, she said she had taught Savanna how to break her own water. And then Savanna left and came back 2 days later and gave Brooke her baby.
Bet.
Right? Because that's what you do.
Brooke, that's definitely it.
That's
I
what
get
happened.
it now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what else you say in the story. That's it. That's
it.
the answer.
Okay.
Brooke.
However, William confessed to the real story immediately, telling cops he came home after work to find Brooke cleaning up blood and that he helped her clean up and dispose of evidence in garbage bags. He said Brooke then presented him with a baby and said, quote, "This is our family. This is ours," end quote. Police had also discovered that Brooke and William had been planning to run. Surprise. And had been searching for travel deals online. So the judge set a $2 million cash bail.
Oh, yeah, they definitely don't have anybody to post that.
No.
Not people like that.
No, definitely not. They're going to be there. Thursday, September 7th, a funeral service was held for Savanna Greywind. Hundreds, maybe even 1,000 people showed up to offer their condolences and pay their respects. The funeral included indigenous songs and tributes from the Spirit Lake tribal chairwoman Myra Pearson and the mayor of Fargo, Tim Mahoney. People wore red shirts to honor Savanna and other indigenous women who have been killed or are missing. The day after Savanna's funeral, full custody of Hazley Joe was granted to Ashton, her father. However, he has all the support of the Greywind family, and they are very close. So Savanna's family will always be a part of Hazley Joe's life. On December 11th, 2017, Brooke pled guilty to conspiracy to commit murder and conspiracy to commit kidnapping and providing false information to police. And on February 2nd, 2018, Brooke Cruz was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Good. I hope she gets the shit beat out of her in there.
Oh, I hope so too. By all the mamas in prison.
All of them.
Just beat the fuck out of her.
I will literally put 72 packs of ramen in a sock. Beat the shit out of you with it. Oh, you like honey buns? Here's 400 in a bed sheet. How does that feel, motherfucker?
God.
You like shoelaces?
Tripped you, bitch.
Can't get those in prison, so I'll beat you with my Crocs, though.
Oh my god. Just have like the croc pattern on your face with the holes.
No, because it's prison. They got they're probably George brand.
Oh my god. Brooke admitted to luring Savanna into the apartment and performing a so-called C-section, if you could call it that, on Savanna while she was still alive. Oof. Obviously she had to still be alive, because you can't, if you kill Savanna first, the baby's gonna die.
Well, I mean, you could, science, you could do it pretty quickly afterwards.
I guess.
I can't even imagine.
No, that's literally the worst. On September 4th, 2017, William pled guilty to charges of kidnapping and providing false information to authorities. And on September 18th, 2018, his trial began for a charge of conspiracy to commit murder. And on Friday, September 28th, he was found not guilty for conspiracy to commit murder, which means he was not there when she did that. So, I can't really disagree with that. But the rest of it,
I can. He knew what was going on.
Well, I mean, he was at work and then came home and that was going on. I mean, he definitely fucked up. He kidnapped a kid. He helped conceal stuff. He should do some time, but he didn't kill her. So, but have no fear. October 29th, a judge sentenced him to life in prison with the possibility of parole for his other charges relating to Savanna and Hazley Joe. He appealed his sentence and won and is expected to receive a new one. So, waiting on that. At the end of 2018, a new bill was proposed by Democratic North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp to help add resources and make sure enough is actually being done on the police side of things to find missing Indigenous women and kids. It ended up getting put on the back burner because, of course, it did. It passed Senate unanimously but was stopped in the House by thank God he's former, Republican Representative Bob Godlate in Virginia. Yeah, because we can't help the Indigenous women. That has to be stopped. Why would you stop a bill like that? I can't even. I'm not trying to get political, but that's bullshit. However, in 2019, a new bill was proposed. It's called Savanna's Act. This bill is to help address gaps in data collection and law enforcement relating to missing or murdered Indigenous women. It was taken up by a Republican senator in Alaska, Lisa Murkowski. And there are 22 people who signed on as co-sponsors of the bill, including Kevin Kramer, who unseated the lady Heidi Heitkamp that started the original one.
Only 22 people?
Well, so far.
Well, that's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should be on board, clearly.
Oh, no, we don't want to look out for anyone.
No. It was also introduced in the House and co-sponsored by Representative Deb Haaland, who's a Democrat from New Mexico. And she is actually one of the first Indigenous women elected to Congress. So, yay for Deb. The bill has yet to move past, just being in the introduction stage. Senate is waiting for comments from the Justice Department. I guess evidently that's the thing that has to happen. I don't know about getting bills passed. But so many people turn a blind eye or are unaware of how large of an issue missing and murdered Indigenous women and kids are. Deb Haaland said that our country, quote, is not alarmed enough by the crisis. I want people to think about that could be your daughter or mother, end quote. And that's exactly how people need to be thinking. These are women and children who need justice. On the Red River alone, where Savanna was found, 134 bodies have been found over the course of decades, according to the Sovereign Bodies Institute. And Savanna Greywind was just one of those. There are other bills in Congress that pertain to this horrific epidemic, including the Not Invisible Act of 2019, as well as a reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, which now includes specific provisions for Indigenous women. There's also a special task force that has been formed that is dedicated to raising awareness of the violence facing Indigenous people, called the Forgo Moorhead Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Human Trafficking Task Force. In case people don't know, and this is the first they're really hearing about this, I hope it's not, but a lot of these missing women and children are being sex trafficked as well, not just murdered. So it's a huge crisis. Miracle child Hazley Jo is thriving, and she is very loved by Ashton and Savannah's family. She enjoys pushing her dolls in a stroller and is said to be a happy, easygoing baby. Ashton says he loves being her dad, and he says Savannah's parents are excellent, doting grandparents. Also, I want to note that directly after Savannah's murder, a 3-year-old in the community raised over $1,000 with her lemonade stand, and a GoFundMe was started that raised more than $24,000 for the family. I'm so glad they had so much support and love in such a horrific time. And that, my friends, is the tragic and horrifying story of the death of Savanna Greywind. She was a light in this world that was brutally and unfairly taken far too soon, at a time in her life that she should have been able to celebrate and be spoiled. My hope is that her sweet daughter Hazley Jo gets to grow up in a better world where Indigenous women and kids are treasured and protected by all, and that she gets a safer and happier world to live in. And while her mother should have never died, I hope Savannah's story evokes major changes in this country and around the world. It's sad. It's really, really sad.
Which, you know, I've got some experience up in that area of the world, and I've told you about like the signs in the truck stops that like the I-80 corridor in Nebraska is the highest for child sex trafficking and shit, and it's just disgusting up there.
It is.
It's disgusting everywhere, but Indigenous women, they get looked over just like sex workers because they're less than.
Right, they're considered less than, and they're not.
It's bullshit.
It is bullshit. And I think, you know, since we obviously came to this land and took it from these people, that the very least, the minimal of least that we could do is to protect them and make sure that they don't go missing.
The thing is, it's not even about like protecting a certain person. It's just be a fucking decent person. That's it.
Do better, be better, and let's protect one another.
Love our podcast? Then hit that subscribe button and leave us a review.
We're also on Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/truecrimebuzz and join today for access to all our exclusive content, including bonus episodes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at TC Buzz Podcast.
And check out our website at www.truecrimebuzz.com.
Until next time,
Cheers!